Hello, hello, hello. Looks like we're live. Notification says we're live. That must mean we're live. Let's have a quick check. Just to make sure everything's all right. Stream health says excellent. And I think we're there. Jolly good. Bang on 8 o'clock. For once. Evening Gary B. Evening Rob. Good to see you lads. Welcome to another Wednesday night of yeah. How are you both doing? All right? Aid, evening mate. Good to see you back. I think I might move my camera one day so it's kind of facing that way. So it's next to my screen. Maybe I could put it on top of my computer or something like. I've got it on a little tripod at the moment. And I could probably do with moving it. Because I'm looking that way and talking and the camera's this way. Yeah, I'm good. It's been a reasonable week for me. Like I've absolutely no complaints at all about this week. I got a rebate on my water bills. I've been paying water bills for over 2 years, and apparently I shouldn't have been paying them. So I got a rebate, big rebate, and my car passed its MOT today as well. So Mark is happy. Didn't catch anything on Saturday. I went fishing on Saturday to the brickworks in Morton again, and I was sat in a bitterly cold wind, and the fish just seemed to have deserted me. They were not on the spots I've been fishing, not anywhere near me, and I blanked on Saturday afternoon. It's only my second blank on those lakes, and yeah, a bit disappointed with that like, but these things happen and you learn from your mistakes, don't you? So next time I'll try moving somewhere else. Evening Andy, good to see you mate. Good to see you keeping fit as well mate, which is more than I am at the moment. Trying to get out and do some walking and get some exercise, and I'm struggling. But yeah, it's been a good week. Like, cars through its MOT and I got a whopping big rebate, even though I blanked. So Mark is happy. I've got my new landing net, by the way. I bought a Bulldog, Matrix Bulldog 2 landing net. Now I wanted a Dimag net, and Andy knows about these Dimag nets, like they're handmade, but they are very difficult to get hold of. And I know Andy's been trying to get in touch with the fella who makes them for ages, and he's not had much luck. So in the end I started looking around for landing nets that are light, and this one came in about 600 grams. It's a Harrison handle, carbon handle. That's the spreader block. That's my thumbnail, just so you know how big the spreader block is. It's extremely small and tidy. And the other end of the landing net handle is shrink wrapped for about, I would say that's probably 18 inches. It's certainly over, well, I've got a ruler. Got a ruler on my desk these days. So I would say 12, maybe 15 inches. It's shrink wrapped at the end, which is quite tidy. So the pole's nice and light. And the net itself's just in the bag, and you can see that on the bag there it says Matrix Innovations. I didn't take it with me on Saturday. I got it last week. I think it came on about Thursday, but I didn't take it with me. I thought it deserved a better christening than the brickworks, to be quite honest. So yeah, there's me new Matrix landing. That's Matrix Bulldog 2. Not cheap by any stretch, but yeah, whether it turns out to be worth the money or not, I don't know, but we'll wait and see. Evening James, evening Daryl. So I'm just going to have to scroll back a bit. Don't speak to me about harips. Harips? Trips? Not sure about that, Andy. That a typo, mate. I'm looking at it and I'm not getting it. Will, all booked up on Merrington Easter Sunday. Oof, mate, what are you doing? Easter weekend. Ouch. That's probably the most horrendous weekend of the year. Everybody comes out of hibernation from winter, and I usually, the last couple of years, I've not bothered going anywhere on Easter weekend because it's so bad. I got new glasses as well, by the way. Don't know whether you noticed, but I got new specs last week as well. So I'm doing all right. Mr. Tyler, evening mate. Louis fishing, evening. Danny, late arrival. Just got in from an evening on the bank. Left the house at 4 p.m. Forecast for fish. Can't argue with that, mate. You are keen though, mate, leaving at 4 p.m. to go fishing and just getting in now. That's like a couple of hours either side of dark, I take it. Mr. Tyler, yeah, I think we've mentioned you before. Welcome back, mate. Good to see you here again. MOT this week, 16-year-old classic Civic, passed with flying colours. Yeah, mine passed as well, James. I've got the pass certificate here, right. And I've actually done this year, because of lockdown, I usually do around about 10,000 miles a year. And I've done less than 4,000. Last year it was 45,941, and this year it's 49,830, which is about 3,900 miles, something like that, give or take. I've literally not gone anywhere in the car. I've not had to do any long journeys. I've been stuck on Wirral. Can't go fishing half the time, and I've not been to work in nearly a year. I think they sent us home on the 23rd of March to work from home, so my car's never been to work. So I've literally done slightly under 4,000 miles this year, and most of that's been either fishing in the summer because I was going twice a week, or to the brickworks, and I've not been any further than that. So I've not been out into Cheshire much, and shopping, just going shopping and running around, going to the post office and stuff like that, running around, slightly under 4,000 miles. So that's what lockdown does to you, I'm afraid. Only days, not booked, and he owed me 2 nights from months ago. Right, okay, well, surely you can do days. If it opens on the 29th, mate, and you can go night fishing, which we can, because a few of us have examined the rules and looked at them and gone over them with a fine-tooth comb for what they mean. It's open to interpretation again, but bottom line is you can travel if you want. There's restrictions lifted on travel, which means you can travel, even though it says advises against it. You don't have to take that advice. You can travel if you want. So you can pretty much, you can go night fishing again, you can travel, and everything's pretty much back to normal from what I can make out. So I don't see why you can't stay the night if you want to, mate. Have you had your tea since you've been in, Nanny? And mate, the last time I got chatting to members in the car park on the waters I fish, I ended up staying about 3 hours into dark, and one of my rods rattled off One of them helped me stop me blanking. I was talking to one of the lads for we were 2 hours into dark, and because I was talking to him, like, I didn't wind the rods in, I left them out, and one of them rattled off, and he did the honours for us, and then we cleared off. Just finishing the prep, Daryl, nice one. Get out there, mate, get some fishing in. Evening, Gizmo, good to see you, mate. Day off work tomorrow, out for carp on the feeder and waggler. Hopefully record a vlog. It's Thursday tomorrow, isn't it? I'm in work all week this week, like I've had a horrible week. There's lots going on in work, like people making mistakes and stuff like that. I've just been horrendous, rushed off my feet. But I'm off again myself next week. So yeah, I get to do some fishing myself. My car's going for a full service next week, which hasn't been done yet. It's past its MOT but not been serviced yet. I get the Ford dealer to do that next week, and this time next Wednesday it'll have been serviced, and hopefully I'll have a water meter in my house as well to cut the water bills. So I'm looking forward to getting that installed. My water bills at the moment is slightly over about 630 quid a year, and with a water meter it'll go down to £150, so they told me. So I'm looking, as far as I'm concerned, the sooner that's in the better. Mr. Tyler, any tips for fishing the brickworks? You've never fished it. Well, to be honest, mate, up until about the 20th of February, 20th, 22nd of February, never had I. But I've had 9 visits now, and I've caught 16 fish in 9 visits. Just days, turning up at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon and fishing till dark, which is round about between 6 and half 6. So like only doing 5-hour trips, and up until last week when I blanked, I was averaging 2 fish a trip. So it's not a difficult water by any stretch. Don't ignore zigs, because I've had quite a few of me fish on zigs, and fish the margins because it's a deep brick pit, and it's 20 feet deep in the middle, and the margins are like 8 or 9 foot. So it's perfect margin water. So if you can get away from everybody and keep quiet, just drop them in the edge with a handful of bait and wait for them to come round and pick it up. That's all I've been doing, and the rods have been going off regularly. The zig and the baits on the bottom, or bait on the bottom. So it's not a difficult water by any stretch. Like, I've been using Scopex squid, which is my go-to classic bait. Oh, you're fishing the 48 hours? Well, sorry, I thought you were just doing days. Yeah, it'll be chocker, mate. Have you booked your peg or just on the lake? Because I would imagine it will be absolutely rammed. There'll be no spare pegs left on Easter weekend at all. Graham, all right, mate? Yeah, it is time we had a session where we want and when we want. It's long overdue, isn't it, mate? I can't wait till everything opens up again, but I don't yet know what I'm going to do. I haven't actually decided. I'm torn. I've got to stay on the brickworks next week. I think Monday's the 29th, isn't it? And that's the day I go back to work after a week off, and I'm really gutted about that. It's just one of those things, though. So I'm stuck on the brickies while I'm off, but after that at least I've got options. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do yet. I'm thinking somewhere along the lines of Warrington. Got me was a card, so I'm thinking maybe one of their waters for a while, but it very much depends how busy it is. You've bought a bivvy since the last live stream. JRC Defender Peak, 150 notes. Opted for that instead of something more expensive. Don't blame you, mate. Put the money into Delkins instead. Yeah, absolutely. I'd have done exactly the same. Regarding bivvies and stuff like that, they're just getting so expensive these days, and it's not necessary. You know, some of them look like camping tents as well, like, and they're charging huge amounts of money for them. Not worth it. I do most of my nights under a brolly. I've got an old hutchie bivvy from the 1990s, an apophysis which is still in full working order. Just needs treating now and again to keep it waterproof. So I've got a hutchie apophysis, which is like a 2-man dome tent, a brolly, 50-inch brolly, and a, what's it called, a tracker A-light. Do you remember the tracker A-light? It's like a pram hood, but it's a more open front on it, like open fronted like a brolly. And I've got a wrap for that as well that'll go over the A-light. So I've got 3 shelters there I can pick from. Like I usually use the A-light, or I'll keep under an umbrella with sides, and I'll just put a whatchamacallit over it. I've got like a throw over that's got like it's got mesh door at the front, and it covers the back of your brolly and the sides, so you're not getting wet or anything like that, or getting the wind on you. And I'm quite happy fishing under the brolly most of the time. I think as long as you've got something to cover your head in the night time and you're not getting wet, you're fine. That's what being outside's all about, isn't it? Yeah, Graham's had his JRC bivvy for 10 years. Still good. Yeah, I don't have a problem with JRC stuff. Like, I've had some of their gear. I've got a JRC landing net, and I've got a Stealth brolly as well. Remember the old Stealth brolly? That's still going. That's well over 10 years old, that one. Yeah, putting it up so it's easy to get a bivvy down to a fine arc, James. You just have to go about 3 or 4 times, and once you know it, you know it. And everything has its place, everything's in its place, and as long as you're an orderly and tidy person, it's dead easy. On the lake, do a draw. Just need to get out. Got my membership for Willows. I'm getting a few months booked up on there. Yeah, okay. You still after the real big ones then, Will? You still chasing that 40, mate? Because I know there's one in Mennington now as well, isn't there? Allegedly. Looks a bit red. Doesn't feel painful or anything, like, but it looks a bit red. Like looking in the mirror. Fox X set line for your tension, Graham. Yeah, you'll be alright with that, mate, in £10. It's what I use on my long range rods for carp fishing, and it's proved to be pretty good. Like, I've had some decent fish with it. It's quite reliable. Pards, you got the notifications this time. Nice one. Pisk. Oh, Pard. Yeah, okay. I was wondering what PISC means. Sorry, my phone's going again. Yeah, as long as you can keep dry, Graham, that's all that matters when you're out fishing. You're not too bothered about anything else, really, as long as you can keep the rain off you and the wind. There's nothing else to it, you know. I mean, some people just use a throw over, or they have them. Nash used to do them, didn't they? It's like a hide. I mean, I know they've got a bivvy called a hide, but it was like you just put a pole at one end, and it's like a sloping thing that goes over your bed chair and keeps the rain off you, basically. That's it. As long as you're not getting wet, brolly will do. I keep under the brolly most of the time, especially in summer. You know it's going to be reasonably dry, like, then it's not so bad. If you think it's going to be changeable and windy and a bit of rain, then take something with sides on, or a full bivvy. Wow, 340s in Mennington, I didn't know that. Evening, Stu. Good to see you, mate. JRC recliner chair. I can't say I've had one of the chairs. What have I had? JRC. Landing net. Still got the landing net. Stealth brolly. I've had some luggage as well. Like I think I've got a JRC hold all, and that's still in good nick. It's a good few years old now, and it's still going. It doesn't get a lot of use these days, though. It generally tends to be more tackle storage than anything else. You know how you end up with like 3 sets of everything if you're a carp angler. I mean, I don't even night fishing. I've got 3 shelters for night fishing. You just end up acquiring them over the years, and when you get one and you don't get rid of the other, if you don't sell it on, then it builds up over time. And I'd never sell anything on, like, so I've got like rods, bivvies. I am down to 1 bed chair. I did have a few, but I've got rid of them now. I've just got an Avid flatliner now, and that's it. And, I had a Nash Indulgence Mark IV, you know, the full sleep system. I think I slept on it once and got rid of it. Didn't like it, not one bit. It was too big for the car, and not very comfortable for me on the bank. Like, didn't like it, so I got shot. Yeah, 15-inch Brolly wrap. Happy days. Top line exercise, only used it up to £20 for carp, 18 but sold out. 16 is strong line. Yeah, 0.33. That sounds about right. Yeah, it's a good line exercise. I was quite pleasantly surprised with it. Like, I was I used do you know what, I can't even remember what it's called now. I'll give up. I had a good casting line, one of the best, and I had to replace it, and Exocet was the one I went for because I couldn't get it no more. It was a Terry Eustace one, sold by Terry Eustace, gold label tackle. Someone's going to remind me what it's called. Black and blue cover. Let me see if I've got some. No, I think I've got rid of it. Sorry, I've got rid of it. Pro Clear, thanks Will. That's the one. Yeah, I was on Pro Clear for years. I used to use it in £16 for my main fishing, and I had it in £8 on my distance reels with the shock leader, and I could cover some pretty hefty distances with that, like, but it got very difficult to get hold of. I couldn't find it anywhere, not online, not in the shops, and I replaced it with Exocet in £10, and I've got to say, like, it was pretty good. £13, yeah, it's a good line. Parts, I found it held quite well for me. Like, I was only using it in £8, and I've certainly had a few 20s on it a year or two back. When I was fishing, I was actually using it on Gailey, and yeah, I caught a few 20s with it, like at range on the £8 one, and it held no problem. Like, it's fine. Let's see, I'm going to have to go back up a little bit. Yeah, you're looking to upset the locals on Willows, Will. I'm sure you will, mate. Danny's got his eye on a bait boat. That should be fun. Any particular reason? So he's been renting one in France. Oh yeah, you're going to France, aren't you? Of course. Okay. Chub Day Shelter. I have a Coram brolly for me day fishing. Lightest brolly on the market is 3.5 kilos. It is so light, it's absolutely fantastic. It's a bit flimsy, But you know, I mean, when I'm on a day session anyway, I never put a brolly up unless it's raining. It's literally, it's got to be battering it down before the brolly goes up in the first place. So it doesn't matter how windy it is or how cold it is, there will be no brolly up unless it rains, because it's just to keep the water off you, that's all. And yeah, it's got to say, it's a cracker for days. It's not a pencil like Danny, it's older one than that. I can't remember what it's called. It was 80 quid. Corum, something or other. Really light. It's got sides on it. It's 50-inch with sides, and it's got a centre pole on it. And I mean, I only fish with a little chub chair anyway. I only sit on a little chub chair, and I have my rucksack next to me, and it covers all of me. I can tuck myself away underneath it, like, and it doesn't don't get wet or anything. So it's quite useful, even in carp jacket. Good to see you, mate. You looked into the TXI Plus. The range is now called TXI-D. Set of 2 alarms and receiver, 420. Expensive, but you've explained the good service Delcom offers. Yeah, well, if you ever have any problems with it, mate, you can send them back and they'll get it back to you straight away. They're pretty good with servicing and stuff like that, because they're made over here, and they're pretty good. The specialists in bite alarms, like, that's what they do. Whereas if you go for Fox, yeah, good luck getting them serviced or getting any parts for them, or getting any joy out of Fox if they go wrong, because basically they're just from China, aren't they? Yeah, what boat are you going for, Danny? Mr. Tyler wants to know, and so do I. Pro Clear, yeah, we covered that. Great line. Let's see. Just bought a bait boat off in line for France. Smash the lake without it, always, if you can, mate. Chasing up one of these dimagnets, Andy. Are you getting anywhere with them? Like I said, I got this this Matrix one instead, mate. Oh shit. That wasn't meant to happen. That was not meant to happen. Stick that there, at least it won't fall again. Yeah, Matrix Innovations. Jury's out on this, to be honest. It was quite an expensive net. It was 185 quid. Yes, Corum Graphite, Mr. Tyler, well done. I think you've cracked it there. That's the one I've got. Sorry guys, this is related to work, and I need to sort out, like, I've just dropped a load of paperwork. Can't have that going astray, like, people might get sick. Yeah, so the Matrix, it's certainly light, but beyond that, jury's out. We'll have to wait and see. You heard good things about the Pentalite. Yeah, that's the new one. I think that's the new version of the one I've got. It'd be the one you'd go with. Yeah, Corum Graphite is the one, Mr. T. Don't pay full RRP on Delcom's. Phone Future Fishing. They will do 3 on a receiver for 465. Thanks, Andy. I don't know whether you got that, James. You did, yeah. I know Andy. I know Andy, like, away from these live streams, like, and I know he likes Future Fishing. He's had a lot of stuff off them, and they've been quite decent with him, and they've always do a good price as well. Stu says, get the RT4, which has a camera with it as well. Nice. Right, okay. I had the feeling you'd go with the Chris Brown net, looking at Carp for him, Andy. yeah, it seems to be getting a lot of positive reviews. In fact, people are saying it's actually as good as the Dimag. So yeah, fair play, mate. We go for the Chris Brown one. Be interesting to see what it's like. Not that I'll be buying another for a long time, like having just forked out for this this Bulldog 2, Matrix Bulldog 2. I'm going to be buying a landing net for a while, mate. But it'll be interesting to know how you get on with it, Andy, if you get it. Bait boat wise, might be a deal with the company who make them. Looks an interesting one. Got all gubbins, 800 metre range. 4kb satellite navigation, and can add a deeper as well. I'd add the deeper, Danny. If you're going to get a boat, you might as well get a fish finder on it as well. RT4. I don't know much about bait boats. Starlight UK, evening mate. The Greys 2. I've got a blank look on my face there, mate, because I don't know what a Greys 2 is. Is it a bait boat or a landing net? Too many subjects going on at once. I'm leaning towards landing net. Yeah, that's what convinced you to get one. 10 extra sections for the bushwhacker turned up this week. Nice one. I didn't get any for mine, mate. I know you told me where to get them from. Most places have the extensions in. Right, okay, cheers, Andy. I think I was only going to get 5 for mine. I just wanted to go a little bit further. But to be honest, I mean, I've had that bushwhacker baiting pole now since, what, last February? Something like that. And I think I've used it twice. Stopped carrying it. You know, if you're in the right situation where it's needed, they're brilliant. But, you know, for most of the time, 99% of the time, you don't actually need one. And on the places I've been fishing, I haven't needed it. I might start taking it again if I go back to Horseshoe, but anywhere else at the moment, the places I'm fishing, they're just normal fisheries, and there's no real places you'd gain an advantage from it, poking it under trees. I do know where you're going to be fishing with it though, Andy, and I have the same water on my radar as well, so yeah, we'll see how you get on with it, mate. Super reliable, the RT4. Gray's rod's the best going. I disagree with you, mate. I've had Gray's rods, and at the moment I'm on Harrison Torics, and they knock spots off Gray's any day of the week. Sorry. It could come into its own on there, Andy. You're quite right. And we'll see. I may start dropping on there myself, mate. I just don't know what to do at the moment. I need somewhere reasonably close. But I've got, I'll be honest, mate, I've got Reedsmere in my head. I keep thinking about it. Thinking about places, because my mind's always going like, where am I going to go, what am I going to do, because I never fish the same water week in, week out. I target waters at specific times of the year when I think the fish in there will be vulnerable. So it doesn't matter how hard the water is, it can be an absolute ball breaker, but if I know fish will come out of that water during the month of May, then I'll hammer it for the month of May. And if I catch, I catch. If I don't, I don't. But, you know, once I think the best of it's passed, I'll move on to somewhere else. So at the moment, I've got Reedsmere in my head. I'm just trying to work out the times that they'll be vulnerable on there. Crikey, 350 each for greys. That's horrendous. I think my torics were only, well, mind you, they're 7 or 8 years old now, my torics, but I think I paid about $280 for mine. I had them personalised and got my name put on them. Sorry, I'm just scrolling back a bit. Right, okay, so you're going to try and wangle a bait boat out of a company, Danny. If they'll give you one, mate, great. Couple of Grey's Prodigy specials, yeah. I went for Coram twin tips, and yeah, twin tip rods from anybody are pretty good. Come in handy for piking as well on Tatton. Yeah, you'll be able to get those baits out a long way. A deliverance bait boat and it broke down. I think that's an occupational hazard with bait boats, pards. I had a Viper Icon, which I bought, and it was okay, but it did break down a few times. Well, it didn't break down. The battery went flat quite regularly because it was known for chewing the batteries. So I had to go out in the rowing boat and collect it once or twice. 1.5, 2. I think mine are 1 3/4 and 2, but I only ever used the 2s, to be honest. When I'm after Norton, I've pulled out parts, can't go. I've got family problems at home, and I've had to pull out, which is a pain in the arse really, because all the lads are quite excited about it, like they're watching videos and doing stuff like that. I think Andy Clark's still going, he's still on it, but I've had to back out. The lads were good enough to give me my money back, so I got a rebate, but I'm disappointed. But at the end of the day, I can't be away from home for 2 days at the moment due to family members. You're settling on the water this year, swaying towards where we spoke about with peanuts. I haven't covered peanuts in a video yet. I got a load of them in a bag behind me, but I've used them up. I had a few good fish on them as well. I've been using peanuts, Andy, on and off now for about 18 months, but I haven't told anyone. Well, you know, you keep these things to yourself, don't you? But yeah, I think you're picking the right bait, mate, for sure. They're an absolute cracker. How do you read the water of a vulnerable fish? Right, okay, I'm going to stop there. How do you read the water for vulnerable fish? So I'll catch up with you all in a minute. Right, James, one thing you learn from going fishing over the years is that fish will come out of the water at certain times of the year, or let's just say when there's been no angling pressure on it. So if your water closes for the closed season, June the 16th is a good time to get on there. Back when I fished Cape Thorn, we had stats for this because we used to record all our captures back then, and we worked out that in the first 2 weeks of the season, so from June the 16th to the end of June, you would catch over half your fish for the year in those first 2 weeks because they were green and hadn't been fished for, and then once the angling pressure bites on it, the defences kick in. They get very wary, nervous, and you don't catch anywhere near as many. You'll fish the rest of the year to catch the same amount of fish. So those first 2 weeks when they're vulnerable, during those first 2 weeks. Now, they're also vulnerable coming out of winter, so April and May. that reflects in. I've got a video on my channel, Carp Season Analysis, I think it's called, and it shows you catch rates throughout the year going up and down. And April and May are the two best months of the year because the fish are vulnerable. They're coming out of winter, and those 2 months are the time you get on them. Now, some waters close in March for an old closed season, so you can rule them out, but you know they're going to be good in June, so you can hit another one in April and May. That makes sense. So you're on one water targeting the big fish in it in April and May, and then in June you can switch, knowing that you're going to get those 2 weeks when they're all going to come out. Now, I've got waters that some of them close at the end of May or in mid-May. Some of them open on the 1st of June. Some of them, like Reedsmere, don't open until July. So at different times of the year, I can whack a water for 2 weeks when it's just opened. So that's what I mean by targeting fish that are vulnerable at certain times of the year. If you know when, and you know you've got that experience of those fish coming out in the 2 week period when the angling pressure starts again, you can pick your waters to suit. That makes sense. And I pick my waters to suit. I always have done for years. It didn't take long, just looking at the patterns, the catch patterns over the years. April, May, always good. Close season, water opening, always good. It's and you can swap your waters. So if you've got access to like a couple of dozen big fish waters like I have, then you know the world's your oyster. You can hit them at certain times of the year and then go off somewhere else and do something else, and that's the way I fish. Bottom line is, I'm not a fisherman who sits in a bivvy and just camps and takes pictures of his stoves and stuff like that. I'm a hunter, and I'll go after them at the times that they're vulnerable, and that's how I do me fishing. Like, I take no prisoners when it comes to that. Like, I'll take advantage of any chink in their armour, or you know, like patterns in their behaviour that I can. So that's the way I fish, and it always has been. Get on there when it's easy, get your results and get off, and leave the rest of the year to the campers. That's always how I've done it. So I hope that's a little bit clearer, gives you an idea into my head and how it works. Yeah, good complex for socials, Norton, and the lads are going to have a cracker. I think they're going to be the first on when it opens at the moment, because they've been told it's going to stay closed until at least the middle of April, I think, maybe later. And they're booked on at the end of April, so they may well be the first on. September to November on Reeds. See, that's not a time I'd fish it, Will. I'm actually thinking of April, May, and maybe July. Because they'll be the times when they're due. The rest of the year it's just going to be a grind, and I'll go off somewhere else and do something else. Wouldn't say so much wangling when the company approach you. Well, fair enough, Danny. I call it wangling. Any way you want to look at it, like, it's still wangling to me. Let's have a look. Sorry guys, I'm lost. Gray's part of JAC now. JRC, Pure Fishing Group. Didn't know that. Ian McHale, good to see you, mate. I used to do recovery in my young days. They started a big boat recovery firm, yeah. They're forever getting flat batteries and stuff like that. Like, there's always something that the electrics in it. There's always something that can go wrong with them. Golden Wonder, Jungle Fresh over old Peanuts advert. Talk about breakdowns. Broke down in Walsall, windscreen wipers packed in. Oh dear. Fuse possibly Andy. I'm sure he's looked at that. 3 nights booked. Days is killing you. I don't night fish, Ian. I just do days, and I quite like them. The nights would kill me, doing it the other way around. I'm not sure Andy's in an old Focus. I think he might be in an articulated lorry. He's right next to a Volvo dealer in Walsall. Happy days. And he's in a Volvo truck. There you go. Yeah, well put, Mark. Yeah, Gizmo, always the way I fish, mate. You learn these things as you come through the ranks and target waters that are harder. Like once you get onto the some of the like the history waters like Cape Stone and stuff like that, you soon learn when they come out, when they don't, when to put the effort in and when to walk away. And I think I get it right most of the time. Like I'll target my waters at certain times of the year when I know they're due out. It's just a case of looking at the bigger picture sometimes, rather than just going to the same place and grinding it out. It's going to be mental on the 29th. You're not wrong there, mate. Yeah. Get to France at the end of May. How are you doing with the bait aspect, Pards and Stew? Are you going to get it when you're there, or smuggle it into France? Great explanation. I'm in Kent, so I can keep an eye out for waters open and when the fish are vulnerable. Yeah, it's just a case of doing that, James. Like you'll see some have a closed season, some don't, and you just hit him at the right time. Is my motto. Same with fishing in winter. If you've fished around in winter a lot, like I've done a lot of winter carp fishing over the years, and I know fish will come out of certain waters from certain areas at certain times, and I can time my sessions a couple of hours either side. I'll rock up, put my baits in 2 hours before feeding time and clear off 2 hours after feeding time, and quite often I'll catch. So it's making best use of your time, trying to be in the right place at the right time, and I don't know, I guess you just get a sixth sense for it after a while. But I get it right enough times to be happy, put it that way. Love doing nights. Wish I could do 5, but 3 will do. 29th will be the day to fish day only waters, as no one will be on them. Good point, Andy. And unfortunately, well, I've got access to 1 day water, but the other one is shut till June the 1st. So again, June the 1st, I know where to go. No drama on the bake front, stick 30 kilos in each motor and one of you will get through. I would hope they've sorted these problems out, or at least tried to resolve them by now. They do seem to do a lot of argument, don't they, over what's what. The last I heard, they were threatening to take the UK to the European court for breach of something or other over borders in Northern Ireland. The UK's broken agreement already, but they said they were going to break it, and they said like they need some time to for the system to bed in, and you know, it's part and parcel of new agreements and stuff like that, and the European Union's thrown its dummy out the pram as usual. Take a Berco, find the particles out there. Fair play, Danny. Can't argue with that one, mate. Buy any boilies out there. Thing is though, if you buy boilies from the lake, they'll rip you off and overcharge you. And I would imagine if you walk into a tackle shop with an English accent, they're going to double the price. You're better off taking it with you. Or I was going to say take the ingredients, like, but they'll probably take them off you. Aye, Starlight, Paviot's Mill. I've heard of Paviot's Mill, mate. In May, up to £60. Didn't know they were that big in there, but I have heard of the lake. I can't remember where it is though. Is it Kent? I've got down south somewhere like. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how you get on with the bait. You'll end up getting out there and using single hook baits. A lot of people I know have given up on France at the moment. Just so you know, Somerset, right, okay. I'm just checking the R's next to the T on the keyboard, Somerset, yeah. Yeah. Tesco's bird food, how much? No. I don't know. I think I got a packet of peanuts from Tesco's. They're bird food, but they're in the feeder in the back garden for the birds. Like I wouldn't feed them to the fish. Don't know, Gizmo, how much? Is it a rhetorical question? Like, do you know the answer, or are you asking? You'll get your bait out there. I'm sure you will, mate. Just smuggle it. Hide it in the door panels. Mind you, I tell you what, a sniffer dog would have no problem finding boilies, would it? Lots of fishing to do between now and then. I hope to get it sorted. Like, a lot of my mates have stopped going to France. Like, they're not going to bother this year at all. Like, I think they're just going to leave it until things settle down, which might take a year or two. Certainly the European Union, they're like a bunch of babies, aren't they, throwing their toys out the pram like a little spoilt kids. Someone needs to rein them in. We need to break that organisation. What does the saying go? A house divided cannot stand. We need to divide them. Mind you, they're divided enough as it is anyway. 26 of them all bickering and bitching. They can't make a decision between them. You only have to look at the COVID jabs for that. We had all ours secured and we've vaccinated half our population, and they're still arguing over it. Particle bird foods off Hafes, dear but good quality. They've always been good quality Hafes parts. I remember getting my bird foods off them over 25 years ago. Nectar Blend was one I used to use, and Red Factor and Robin Red. They were all good. Clocked it, but can't remember it. Right, okay. Clock it again when you go Gizmo, because I don't know. I'll have a look on I do my shopping tomorrow night in Tesco's, so I always go past the pet food section like, and I'm always looking at the bird foods. Not really for fishing, but you know, because I've got bird feeders in the back garden, and I'm always looking at them. Like, so if you let me know what it is, like, I'll have a nose. What can't we take bait-wise free with us to France? Good question. I'm not sure, Stu. I think it's anything. Is it anything anything meat-based or something like that? I think the rules are. Or egg-based. So if it's got meat or eggs in it, I think you can't take it. Something like that. Something ridiculous. Are chickpeas better than boilies? Good question. They'll both catch fish. Are chickpeas better? I would say yes, myself, for the simple reason is not many people use them. Boilies are in regular use, and the fish know what they are, and they know they're reasonably dangerous, especially on waters with a heavy angling pressure. And by giving them something different in the chickpeas, quite often you can get under their defences. So in some ways, for catching carp, in some ways chickpeas, yeah. Boilies are better for them. They've got more nutrients in. They're going to make the fish a lot bigger than chickpeas, but I'm not up for feeding them. I just want to catch them. So me, I'll take the chickpeas. Tourism is a big industry for France without it to finish. Yeah, you're right, mate. Big industry for them. They'll have to get it sorted out. Otherwise, they'll lose a lot of money. Just like we are at the moment. Are you going to Abbey Lakes? Right, okay. No DNA, Stu. Marriage's pigeon and conditioner, 17 quid. Not bad. That's a decent price, that. About right. It's very difficult to find it cheaper than 17 quid these days, Gizmo. One thing I would say is if you're going to do pigeon conditioner, given the choice, boil it in a pan or chuck it in a cool box, you'd be better off boiling it in a pan. I think boiling in the pan works better than the cool box method, even though the cool box method's the one I covered on my channel. Boiling it works better, I think. Yeah, certainly cheaper, £1 a bag. Yeah, I do like £1 a bag. Get on the DNA. I've got some of that here. I've still got whatchamacallit. I've been using these a bit lately, and I've actually caught a few fish on them. I got these off a mate, Secret 7. That's a full tub, not being used. Absolutely rammed. And yeah. To be honest, the good baits. I quite like them. I mean, I'm a Scopex squid user, like, but I'll be honest, the DNA's it catches fish. Can't argue with it. Five to 7 carp, including the fully scaled. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny that, James, because I'm fishing the water now, right, called the Brickworks, which I think it was Mr. T was asking about it before, wasn't he? Now I've been going. I've only been going a few weeks, but you know, while you're sitting there, you look around you and you keep an eye on your surroundings, and you're looking at the water and watching the fish and trying to work things out, aren't you? I think that's the attitude of a lot of the people who are fishing the brickies where I fish at the moment, because I've been going down there. I mean, I've been catching every trip. Some of those lads haven't had a fish since last November, and it's a relatively easy water. It's not difficult by any stretch. And one thing I've noticed is no one's putting any bait in. They're all literally fishing singles or bags or yeah, nothing else. That's it. You just one cast, plop, whatever's in goes in, and then you never see a catty coming out and do-do-doosh and bait going in. It's I'm quite shocked that nobody is putting a boilie in the lake, and I've been fishing and I've been only baiting the margins, just underarming a bait out, and then like 20 or 30 baits around it, just to get them down on the area and picking bait up, and they're scattered, like, so they're having to move around and pick them up. And I've been catching every trip, 2 or 3 fish a trip, right through. I think I've done 9 sessions now. I've had two blanks, which were on really bitterly cold days, and 7 sessions of course, and I've had, you know, multiple catch every day, every session, and it's through putting bait in. got to get some bait in. If the only bait a fish picks up is the one with your hook on it, they soon go off it. You've got to give them freebies, just to gain their confidence and lower the caution. You've got to give them freebies. So don't think of buying bait and then thinking, oh, I've not bought this to throw it in the water. Throw it in the water. Give them some free bait to eat. Lower their caution. That's why people pre-bait. They'll put kilos and kilos in. You know, the people who are catching stacks of big fish these days, they're going through 100 kilos or more in a season, easily. Some of the top anglers are doing like 500 to 1,000 kilos of boilies. That's good to give you an idea. Like, now I know a kilo of bait's a tenner, roughly, but you know, and they get their bait for free most of the time, or certainly heavily discounted. But investing in a good bait and putting it in will catch you a lot more fish if you're prepared to do it. I reckon I can make a quid's worth of bait last a year. If I wanted to. So I'm just having to scroll back. Yeah, I can't imagine spending money on boilies just to lob them in the water as free bait. That's exactly what you've got to do, mate. Get them in there. Where are we? You'd be shocked just how much it bulks out as well. Yeah, a kilo bag of chickpeas goes a long way, or a half kilo bag, sorry, a pound. It certainly gives a lot of peas, like enough for a session anyway. Scopex squid, how long's that been around? Since the year Doc Gizmo. But here's the thing, right? It's got a track record second to none. It's probably the most successful boilie on the planet. And it's been around, and it's still around now for a long time. That should tell you everything you need to know about catching fish with Scopex squid. I'd put it up against any other boilie. I know everybody's got their favourites and stuff like that, but the track record and the number of records that Scopex squid has held, it's phenomenal. It really is. Probably one of the best boilies ever, and certainly one of the most successful. It's been around so long, like you can't say that of other baits. You know, it stood the test of time, and not many of them managed to do that. Tutti Frutti has from Richworth, Scopex squid from Nash. There's not many others, mate. Question on the free bait then. What about lobbing in cheap stuff as free bait? Chickpeas, pellets, and then using a boilie on the hook. Yeah, you can do that, mate. You just want to get them feeded on your spot any way you can. I still think if you're going to fish with a boilie on the hook, sooner or later you're going to have to give them free boilies as well, just to get them, keep them picking it up. Because once you've caught them once or twice, like they'll start wising up, and you might end up whereby they'll come in, leave the boilie behind and clean everything else. And I've seen that happen quite a few times. It's happened to me a few times where they've actually absolutely cleaned me out, and I've poked over some reeds to look at my spot, and there's just been one boilie sitting there. They're very clever. But yeah, you can pre-bait with more than one bait. Keep the skimmers skimming your spots on the wrong spots. Yeah. Always use free bait, but sometimes wonder if it's too much. No, it's not too much, mate. Just keep using it. Use it in moderation. You know, the more you use, the more you'll catch. Is the rule of thumb, like, because you're lowering their defences and dropping the caution. The more you give them to eat before you hook them, they just get used to it, and then they make a mistake. That's the whole idea of pre-baiting. the other side of the coin is, if you've got fish that are wary like that, is if you give them something else that they've not been fished for with, like chickpeas, then you can get the same thing. You can get under the skin without it costing you a fortune. And that's been the crux of my channel. Like everybody, the bait companies and everything will say pre-bait, 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 throw loads of bait in, and it does work. But at the other side of the coin is, I'm saying buy a pound bag of chickpeas and get under the skin that way instead, but without it costing you a fortune. It's it all depends which way you want to go. Like, they both ways work, but my ways are just a lot cheaper. And we do like cheap on this channel. Pre-baiting is the key. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, pebbles. Yeah, Danny. I'll let Danny tell you about the pebbles, James. It's quite a funny story, that. Scopex stand for, well, it was just the name of a bait they made up, Hutchie and Nash. Scope X, and they shortened it to Scopex. It was a flavour they were using at the time, like they were trying, like, that they had a lot of success on. Scope X. I think that's in one of Hutchie's books. Like, I've got Carp Now and Then, and The Carp Strikes Back by Hutchie, and it's got in how Scope X came about. Scope X, and he shortened it to Scope X. That's as far as I know, parts. That's what I read in Hutchie's book anyway. Mark takes 3 boilies a session, one for each rod, and one to cut in half as freebies. That's me. Yeah, don't you mean 6 then? 6 boilies, Andy, one for each rod, if you've got 3 rods, and one to cut in half for freebies over each rod. Yeah, sometimes the single hook bait, sometimes it works. Like, you know, if you give the fish a choice, you've got one bait there, you take it or leave it. And single hook baits do work, especially on waters where they're getting fed a lot of bait in the first place. You don't need, if everybody's piling it all in, then you don't need to. All you need to do is be on the go and bait, and let everybody else bait up for you. That's my motto. I've done that on a few places. Yeah, people were following Danny on the canal when he was pre-baiting, so he started throwing pebbles in to put people off where he was fishing. But these are the things you'd have to do, James, you know, to keep your spot secret, because the northwest where we're from is very, very cutthroat, and the lads will they'll jump on your hard work. If they know you're putting loads of bait in, they'll be in fishing over the top of it. So you have to do these things on the quiet, or throw a blind, send people the wrong way. It's all a game. It's a great game. Yeah, Stella's still doing it as well. Yeah, Graham, it's Nash bait Scopex squid. I've been on it for years, mate. I've not changed. Caught some cracking fish on it, but I only use it when I use boilies. Sometimes I'll choose particles instead, if I want to keep the price down. I will be changing from Nash bait, like, because I've got some DNA S7, which Andy recommended, Andy Clark, and I've got to say, like, from what I've seen of it so far, like, it looks pretty good. But once the DNA is gone, I will probably go back to Scopex squid, because you always go back to what you're confident in, don't you? Gravel and liquid food feature making. Never really left it, Gizmo. Scopex squid. It just, it's a cracker. 2-rod rule. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. 4 boilies then, Danny. Andy, sorry. Yeah. I do take more than that, to be honest. Like, I've got a bucket and I just tip bait in it when I need to and use it. But I don't put loads in because I'm a day angler and I'm generally only fishing 5 or 6 hour sessions. I'm not going to throw a kilo of bait in the water. Not a chance. I'm fishing to nick a bite. And that's generally how I do it. So I don't need a lot of bait. That's the way I fish. Probably the biggest part of my fishing is getting on the fish. So I'll spend a lot of time looking and very little time fishing. And certainly when I fish Cape Thorn, most of the time I spent using single hook baits. And it was just a case of getting in their face. So, you know, I'd be casting into swims with fish in and then sitting there waiting for them to pick a bait up. And I think, interesting stat from my Cape Thorn days, 80% of my fish came within the first hour. Within an hour of casting in, 80% of my fish. Because I'd go around looking for them when I see a group of fish in an area, I'd study them for a while, watch what they're doing, where they're going, any patrol route they're taking, and then I'd drop a bait in for them. And generally I'd never waited longer than an hour for 80% of my fish, which is pretty good, really. Shows I got it right a lot of the time. Catch up with the second half of the stream later. Cheers, James. Nice one. Thanks for being here. Some good questions from you tonight as well. Getting my trade secrets. Take it easy, mate. Right, it's been booked for the past year. Cancelled and moved. Seems to be a lot of that going on, doesn't there? Cancelling and moving. Going over and asking him how he's getting on. He went white as a sheet. Felt bad for sneaking on your spot. Yeah. Well, you got one over him on him in the end, Danny. That's all that counts, isn't it? He thought he was getting one over on you, and you sold him a dummy. Good on you. I have a bag 14mm in my bait bag for the barbel, but haven't had a chance to try it. I've never tried Scopex squid for barbel either, Graham. I assume that's what you're talking about. But I think I might. Try it. I can't see it not working, to be honest, because the squid is a good catcher of everything, really. Been using this week, had some Hinders Tutti Frutti Boilie Crumb. Been adding that to pellets and fishing the method. Yeah, nothing wrong with Tutti, Danny. It's been around for donkey's years. Before Scopex squid, it was my go-to bait, or one of them. Kept off of it for your porridge. Location. You got to get on them, Gizmo, haven't you? To just get in their face any way you want. Do chickpeas take flavour? Yes, Graham, but you only have to watch my video on it on the Carp channel to see what I think of adding flavours to chickpeas. Sacrilege, mate. But they do take flavours really well, yeah. Thoughts on goose? Have you been talking to some of my mates, Pards? Has someone PM'd you and asked and told you to ask that question? One of my mates has been using goose and he's done well with them over the years. And another one of my mates was asking about them, and because he wanted to try them, and I've tried one and told him not to bother and wasted his money. So make of that what you will. I mean, one mate swears by them, I hate them. And yeah, we've been taking the mickey out of each other for about a week. Yeah, as Danny says, for 12 quid a bottle, I'd rather pee up my boilies. Absolutely. I'll tell you the story about the one I used. I think it was raspberry. Is it Raspberry Supreme or something like that? Now, about 4 or 5 years ago, it was probably summer 2016, I was fishing the water, and it wasn't a difficult water by any stretch, but no one was fishing it with floaters or zigs or anything like that, and there was quite a few fish in there, and I thought the zigs will do. I was used to using the zigs and I was okay with them, but I wanted to refine the method. So I was fishing zigs and I went to the lake and I forced myself to fish zigs, basically. Just thought, I'm not going to bother putting bait out on the bottom, I'm just going to fish zigs. Now, I had quite a few fish. I was fishing zigs like so far under the water, 6 inches or so, hammering mixers over the top. And I was catching fish left, right and centre. Like, just put the rod on the rest, zig, straight down, up, straight up to the bait. And the fish would swirl on it and woof, it'd be off. You knew the buzzer was going to scream by the fish bolting on the surface. So you'd get the bolt first and then a couple of seconds later the rod tip would slam round, and it was great fishing. I really refined my zig fishing on there, but I wanted to refine it further, so I got this goo, this Raspberry Supreme goo. Like Anthony says, it sounds like ice cream. And I put it on my zig, because that's what they were doing on the Corda videos. Like, it's going, oh yeah, put this on your zig and make it better. And I put it into a swim full of fish that were taking floaters. Now, a couple of seconds earlier, I'd had my bait in there with nothing on it. And I'd been catching okay. I put this zig in amongst the fish and carried on feeding me floaters. I've never seen a swim empty of fish so fast. As soon as that gooed up zig went in, they stopped taking bait and disappeared. And I couldn't believe it. I was so gobsmacked by it. I was absolutely stunned. And I was like, what just happened there? And the only thing that was different was it gooed up the zig, and he did not like it one bit. And that was the last time I used a goo. It got binned. After that, I thought, crikey, I'm not having this on my baits, not a chance. So that was the end of me and goo. I only bought the one bottle. I think it was about 12 quid a bottle, something like that. And I was disgusted in it. So no more goo for me. Connected. Reconnection successful. Right, I'm not sure what happened there. Hopefully it's all right anyway. Stream says it's excellent, and it all still seems to be going. But I just got a warning there. Yeah, I'll give you the ticker for a while. Let it tick along the bottom. So yeah, pards, that was the end of me and goo, mate. Raspberry. Emptied me swim of fish. Never touched it again, and I will never go near goo again as far as I'm concerned. Like, that's not good. You don't pay £12 for a product for it to empty your swim. But that's what happened to me. They didn't like it at all. So I won't go near it. So I'm in my mate's ear saying, don't buy it, it's a waste of money. And my mate's in his other ear saying, yeah, it's good, get on it. So make it that what you will. Swings and roundabouts, isn't it? Everybody has different takes on it. But I won't have it. Won't go near it. Let's see. End of the day, there's good baits, no doubt. Certainly bad baits. but you get a carp and create a feeding scenario, a carp will I believe it will eat anything. Yeah, I'm with you there, Danny. They will literally eat anything and everything. They're masters of their own environment, mate, when it comes to finding food. They can literally find a grain of hemp on the bottom in an area the size of what, a tennis court, according to Hutchie. He reckons they can find a grain of hemp. So they certainly, they find bloodworm, things like that. So I don't really think, I'm not a big believer in glugs and dips and stuff like that. I just think that you're pouring money down the drain half the time. It's not necessary, because the fish are quite capable of finding small amounts of flavour, or a grain of hemp or something small. They can find a bloodworm. They certainly find a boilie, even if it's not glugged. Reviews on barrows. Need to take a mortgage out on. I've got a Prestige Mark II Porter, the old Mark IIs. I think they're about 80 quid now. They might have gone up a little bit. I would imagine they'd probably go back near 100 with all this leaving the European Union crap going on. But I've had a couple of Mark IIs. I had one when they first come out, and when that gave up the ghost, I got another one, and it's been great. Quite happy with my Mark II gizmo. I've had an electric one as well, a Mark IV, I think it was. Electric porter, which I've just sold recently. That was alright as well, but hellishly big and heavy. Too big for my car, so I got rid of it. Plus I don't night fish anymore and don't need to take that much gear, so I didn't need it. I either carry my stuff, carry my rod bag with my rucksack on my back and my chair, or I'll dump it on a barrow if I can't be bothered carrying it, or my shoulders sore. So I didn't need the electric one anymore, but I've had a Mark IV electric from Prestige, and I've had 2 Mark IIs in my time. And I don't think I'd use anything else but a Prestige, to be honest. I think the rest are all just copies of it. So that's my slant on it, like. Get yourself a Mark II. Mark Pitches did a cracking piece recently when he said so many people are falling for fishing as a break. Failing fishing. Keep quiet. Yeah. That's another thing, Danny, as well. Yeah, keep quiet. Study to be quiet. They're certainly breaking that on the brickworks where I'm fishing, mate. They're shouting across the lake. All right, mate, caught anything? Oh, yeah, I had one last week. You had anything today? No. Can't imagine why. Try being quiet. But yeah, that's how I've been catching my fish on the brickies. I've been fishing the margins, because I know the margins are deep, and I haven't made a sound. I'll sit there, hide behind a tree in my chair. I don't get up and walk around, and I just sit there quietly. And if anybody walks past, like, they kind of get a, all right, mate, and that's it. But I try and discourage them from talking and just try and keep quiet. And being quiet's got me the bites. Barrow's thin on the ground due to delivery issues, and yeah, I can't argue with that, Andy. I'd still go for the Prestige. Buttercorn goo. Hemp kills pools. That's not been my experience, mate. Do you want to expand on that? Buttercorn goo given to me at the Northern Angling show towards the end of the day when I bought something. Tasted lovely. Yeah, but how many fish have you caught on it? Yeah, the fact that they gave it to you in the first place should tell you it's crap. Buttercorn goo. I think I've got a raspberry one here you can have, Andy, if you want it. I was joking about this the other day. I was thinking of actually leaving that raspberry goo in a swim somewhere, knowing full well that it's empty to swim of fish and that it's crap, leaving it for someone to pick up. I would not be that cruel. Prestige Mark II big boy. You have a carp in a tank in your house. That's one thing I'm going to get, Andy. I haven't moved house yet, but when I move into me other house, I'm going to put a pond in the back garden, I think. I'm going to get myself a pond and get some carp in it. Pards has got a TFG Juggernaut. 140 odd quid. Big and bulky, but it suits. Yeah, well, if you're doing nights and spending a lot of time on the bank pards, then I don't suppose big and bulky is too bad, is it? It's a death knell for me though. Anything big and bulky I get rid of. I can put in maggots and look from above and not see any maggots. Yeah. Decent second-hand one on the Facebook sales site. Fair enough. Rob. Yeah. Sometimes you do come up, don't they? Hemp kills pools. I'll see what Starlight says in a minute. If I pull the tank over the edge, you can see the maggots beneath the gravel, and the carp goes from one to the next finding them. Right, okay. You know, delete maggots though, Danny. Experiment with a few other things, mate, and see what else you can find, delete. I can't wait for the day when I can walk in a tackle shop, have a browse round, pick some bits up. Ordering online is good, but you can't be walking around looking at bits and pieces. Trouble is, that Andy, when you do that, you buy a couple of little bits, like you pick a few, packet of swivels here, packet of hooks there, maybe a bit of tubing. You stock up on bits, and then find, your bill's 60 quid when you get to the till. How does that work out? Ordered some bits from Angling Direct in Wilmslow last week. Got met by a bloke handing you a bag. Like a druggie doing a deal. Yeah. Hemp's pucker. I agree, Pards, absolutely. Not sure why it would kill pools, but he's I'm coming to you, Starlight. We'll talk about hemp in a minute. I bought some bits from a shop today. They sell all sorts of stuff, clothes, etc. Headed straight to the tackle. Spent 7 quid. I wish I could spend 7 quid when I went in a tackle shop. If I could get away with that, I'd be made up. I use hemp week in, week out for all my fishing. I better stop using it. Must be why I'm not catching. Yeah. May as well throw in any plant seed. Same thing. Disagree with that. Hemp's an absolute classic. Graham loves fishing over a bed of hemp. Carp or coarse fish, yeah, bit of both. I'm for carp and coarse because I fish for barbel as well. Use it for both. Hemp's expensive, yes it is. Around about 40 quid a sack at the moment, so I believe. Hemp has been stinking out my kitchen for 30 plus years. Mine too. Pards has got a pond, high maintenance, but love it. Yeah. You've been carp fishing for many years. Yeah, so have I. And I've never had any problem with hemp, and it's never killed a pool. Carp eats anything they do. Even 3 inches. Yeah. Hemp is a seed that grows in pools. How long have you been fishing, mate? Hemp does not grow in pools. Not that I know of, anyway. Damn phone's always going off. Do the same one after carp and catch more than carp anglers. Indeed. Mr. Tyler, cheers mate. See you again. Maggots, micropellets, castor hemp, dead dogs. Grows in Liverpool. Do you know what? I wondered if someone was going to say that. Grows in pool, grows in Liverpool. Hemp is a seed, yeah, that's right. £15. £15 a bag. Oh dear. I'm going to see if I can... I don't understand what Starlight's saying, like, as far as I'm concerned. Hemp's always been really good, but I'm going to Google it and see if I can find anything that resembles hemp being bad. Hemp growing in pools. I would imagine Wikipedia would probably be the place to go, wouldn't it? Tell you what, you can't even get a wiki page for hemp. It's all like buying it. Stuff like that. Hemp side effects. It's protein, nutrition, hemp. I'm going to look at the Wikipedia entry for it, like, to see what it says, because I don't understand what he's saying, to be quite honest. Hemp. Maybe I'll change the search to hemp seed rather than just hemp. I want to see if I can get to the bottom of what he's going on about. All fishing related. They use hemp for everything, don't they? It's used in mega loads of products, even stuff that's made. Hemp oil. So it's a plant. Hemp is a plant. Well, we knew that anyway, didn't we? Do hemp plants grow in pools? Not as far as I know, they don't. Nutrition, storage, fibre, concrete, oils and varnishes, ropes and strands, plaster, wood, plastics. God, hemp's in everything. Paper, weed control, biofuels. Cultivation. Hemp is usually planted between March and May in the Northern Hemisphere, or between September and November in the Southern Hemisphere, and it matures in 3 to 4 months. Millennia of selective breeding have resulted in varieties display a wide range of traits. So you can get it with like CBD and stuff like that. Nothing about it growing in pools though. I'm wondering what he means when it grows in pools. Yeah, rope is made out of hemp, it is, yeah. There's loads of stuff in there, but I can't see anything about it growing in pools. I'm not quite sure. I keep thinking he's put a typo and means pods, but it's a plant. Unless the plants grow in pools. I can get you out of your Cheerio if you get the right one. How to grow hemp. Stream will be rated next week. Yeah. How many drug houses have baths? None. Hemp seed come from a plant that grows in the ground. Yeah. Fish spy on offer at Angling Direct, $59.99. Oh my god, they've come down in price, haven't they? The fish spies, remember how much they were when they first come out? About 200 quid. $59.99. I wouldn't mind, but if the water's gin clear, then I suppose maybe you could get a look at the bottom. But completely not necessary. They're more of a gimmick, aren't they? Fish spies. Tears on my old man's secret weapon. Yeah. Good for roach and bream. Good for carp as well, mate. I haven't covered tears yet. I keep meaning to do them on this channel, like, but I just haven't got round to it. Who puts sugar in when boiling hemp? I don't put anything in mine. If I put anything in, it'll be bicarbonate of soda to make it split easier. Apart from that, I don't use anything gizmo. You know me and additives. Try and use as little of them as possible. If you're going to put anything in, though, sugar or salt would be the one. I had a look at fish spy, was tempted to stick a live bait under it. That'd be quite useful, Danny, in the right water. If it was gin clear and you could see the live bait. Salt or chili hemp. I'm meaning to cover that too. Bicarb. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with Danny. Bicarbonate of soda. Definitely get raided with this search actually, especially being in Birkenhead. Yeah. Yeah. Salt can make it split slower. I've not heard that, Rob. Add the salt afterwards, mate. Cook it as normal first and then just put the salt in. Barbel hemp in my world, but these days not the be all and end all. Yeah. Well, you don't need hemp to catch barbel gizmo, that's for sure. I like it because it gets in all the gravel, and they have to root around for it to find it. It takes them ages to root it all out. So I'm quite happy to use it like still. Yeah, like Graham, put the salt in after the cooking. Absolutely. Good hemp cone. No, I haven't got any buckwheat yet, Ian. I haven't got anything, mate. I've not been out. I've not bought any particles in yet for this year. I've not bought any bait in at all. I'm still running down what I've got. I've got so much bait here that needs using up. I may not need to buy any this year at all. Technically, I've got a stack of stuff. I will get round to it though, mate. Maybe in a few weeks I might head up to Lawton Livery. That's what I was looking for. Lawton Livery in Wirral, our local seed merchant who sells everything for all of us, and see if I can find some buckwheat. I'm sure they've got it in there. I've seen it in there before, like, but I just haven't bought any. But I will get a video done on it for sure. Not one I've used for a while, like. Evening, Luke. Best fishing trips today: 300 fish, roach, perch, chub, barbel, tench, carp, F1, brown goldfish and a ghost carp. Right, okay. It was a busy day then, mate. 300 fish. Can you imagine catching 300 fish in one session? I'm happy to catch one. Always aim for one, and anything else is a bonus. But then again, I am just fishing for carp, and I try my best to avoid roach, perch, chub, tench, and F1s and goldfish. Decent trip that, Luke, by the sound of it, mate. I'm sure you broke 300 before, but usually it's around 250 in it, 200, 250. Yeah, fish every 2 minutes for 10 hours, yeah. It is. Yeah, I'm guessing that it's on a commercial. I'm still looking at this hemp page anyways. I can't find anything about hemp. We know it comes from plants. I'm wondering if the plants are growing in the pools, because I don't understand what was being said. Sometimes it's not easy to interpret what people are saying, like especially if there's a typo in there or anything like that. But I'm struggling to understand what Starlight was saying, because hemp comes from a plant unless the plants are grown in pools, or maybe someone's thrown hemp in and it's sprouted, and that's why he's saying it ruins pools. Because I know some people, especially wheat, have thrown wheat in a lake uncooked, and it's germinated on the bottom and started, and there's a crop of wheat growing out of the lake. So maybe someone's put unprepared hemp in, and it's sprouted. If it's the real deal and not been treated, I don't know. Hi, Carby Roger. Yes, mate. Belishing liquid. Well, belishing block. I haven't used the liquid, but the block is very good. But be warned, mate. If you're married, you might not be for much longer if you start using that stuff. It effing stinks. Yeah, that's why I said untreated, Graham. If it's untreated hemp someone's thrown in, and it's germinated, is the only thing I can think of. Unless the places that we get it from, because it comes to us in sacks, doesn't it? We know it's a plant, but maybe the plants are grown in like paddy fields or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, belishing liquid. Oof. There are some things in carp fishing that are really good, but they do stink, and belishing is one of them. But yeah, Roger, it's good, mate. Good additive. Monster crab's another one. Yuck. Brilliant flavour, but just no. It gets on everything and leaves everything smelling, and belishing's the same. Asafoetida oil's another one. Again, gets on everything and stinks. There's quite a few additives like that, isn't there? That are just no. Give me something sweet any day. Sweet and nice to the taste. Yeah, that's one word you'd use, potent. It's certainly that, mate. But yeah, it is an awesome additive. It will certainly add to your bait, especially if you're using a fish meal. It seems to go in some baits better than others. Wouldn't use it in a bird food base mix or anything like that, but as in a fish meal, yeah, really good. Belishing, it's Belishing shrimp blocks, the one I've used that you get in the Thai, because it's basically just a Thai fish sauce, isn't it? Shrimp paste from the Chinese supermarkets, as Ian says. That's what it is. But my mate dropped a bottle of Monster Crab on the kitchen floor. Did he change the floor afterwards? Oh dear. Yeah. Some additives in carp fishing really are that potent that they shouldn't be used, but they're that good as well at the same time. But yeah, I feel sorry for them dropping Monster Crab on the floor and a bottle of it as well. Ouch. Hideous stuff. But, you know, it's a catcher, without a doubt. Right, I'm looking at the time, lads, and I'm looking at the battery on my camera, because I'm on a battery operated camera, so it'll only run for as long as the battery lasts, and it is starting to go down a little bit. It's not flashing red, but it's flashing yellow. So I think we'll draw a line under this live stream for today. It's been what, an hour and 47 minutes, like, so I've gone over. I originally wanted to keep them to an hour this time, like, instead of 2, but it's been a good one tonight, like, it's been a laugh. A lot of subjects covered, and some good questions as well. So I'm going to say thanks very much tonight. James has asked some good questions earlier on, like, has been a good night tonight. Yeah, Rob, it's been a blast, yeah. I was going to ask Will as well how he got on with his bank tackle stuff, because I still haven't used my zigs yet. I got some zigs from bank tackle last week, didn't I? I was looking around for them on the table before, and I remembered I've put them in my tackle box to take with me. So, but I haven't used them yet. But I'll ask him next week if he's around. So I'll say cheers, guys. Who remembers soaking their luncheon meat in flavour, then freezing it? Yeah, I didn't soak mine in flavour, but I did used to fry it to put a skin on it to make it more difficult for the little fish to eat. And to make it tougher to get off the hair as well. That worked. And the meat soaked it up. Yeah, it was one way of doing it, wasn't it? But I much preferred the frying and make it tougher myself, Gizmo. Trying to get away from the little ones. Right, cheers, guys. Graham, Luke, Ian, Gizmo, Rob, Carpy, Roger. Thanks for popping in, mate. Pards, Stu. I'll just have a quick scroll back. Danny, of course. Can't forget you, Danny. Andy Clark. Starlight UK. Nice to see you here, mate, if you're still around. Mr. T, he's already gone, Mr. Tyler, but I'll give you a mention anyway, mate. I'm sure you'll come back and watch the end, or I hope so. Who else was here earlier on? Andy, we've mentioned. Aid was in at the beginning. Thanks, Aid. James, James has gone as well. Cheers, James. He said he'd catch up later, didn't he? Thanks, mate. Some good questions tonight from you. Who else? I'm sure there was a few others. Who've I missed? Will. Nice one, Will. Good luck with your 40, mate. Good luck fishing on bank holiday Easter weekend as well. Rather you than me. Who else was in with Aid? Carp Jacker. Nice one, mate. Who? I've run out of scrolling. Won't let me scroll back any further, and I know there was someone else at the beginning. Never mind. I'll try and get you on the replay. Oh. Right. Cheers, guys. I'll catch you all next week. Next Wednesday at 8. Take it easy, and I'll end the stream now. Tight lines.